What have you been up to since then?
Yeah, since then I've made some music videos, and I also learned how to do developments with plants and 16mm film, so experimental filmmaking, and I'm starting a new stop motion animation.
Oh, nice.
But this one will be shot digitally and not on 16mm because that's quite hard, so yeah.
Just in terms of your inspirations for this particular film, so besides old BBC stop motions that you didn't actually see,
Yeah.
what was the story behind your film?
I'm a visual artist, so I do sort of installation, sculpture, painting, and I found my way into stop motion through that. And so I would say, like, my background as an artist is inspiration, and yeah, kind of old art films. I mean, even old Bauhaus films, different things. I mean, but that film it's sort of a metaphor about the digital age and cinema and things. Yeah.
Women skate more because of the open community that we have here in the Netherlands. There's no real gatekeeping or barriers to entry. Anyone can come along, no matter what the level.
I feel quite welcome and at home, and I can be myself.
And I move to my own, nobody does that better, baby, I'm home. Amongst gravity waves, split the first to fourth dimension slowly. With the salon, you 10 cast and shit, oh baby, it's quantity.
I have a feeling that there's a few skaters in the room. What was the hardest thing about making your film? Presumably working with friends, not one, because you skate too, right?
Yeah, well, not at the level of
not wanting to put
women.
yourself in the film. What was the biggest challenge that you faced?
Well, I think one of the biggest challenges was because each of the skaters, they have a different way of skating. One of are park skaters, so it means that they do long distance. Another ones are dancers. And so for me, I think the challenge was to be able to showcase and to film properly each of these skaters in their own style. And I think we made it. For instance, for the bar skating, we use an electric golf cart to follow her through the ride, and I think that worked really good.
On n'a pas marre de me traiter comme une merde. Mais t'as qu'à pas te comporter comme une merde en fait. Ah ouais, d'accord, c'est toi qui dis ça à la délinquante là. Oh, mais n'importe quoi. Délinquante. Ouais, délinquante, oui.
Maman, tu penses qu'un jour ça ira mieux?
Intéressante. Tu veux me donner des leçons pourri là? C'est un truc d'adulte d'avoir une vie de merde.
J'espère.
C'est juste toi.
On va faire des efforts en tout cas.
Marie, second time here today.
Yes.
Just from where your film was coming from, a lot of people have big blow-ups with their parents at a certain age. Was there a big kind of was there a lot of family inspiration behind your film?
Yeah.
No,
for real. Yes, it was very, it was very personal and very, it was actually a problem during the script writing phase because I was told a lot we get that happened to you, but also, it's film. So it's the difference. You don't have to put everything that you've talked about in that conversation, so I had to really trim it and make it into a film. Basically, that could be relatable to everybody and not just me and my mom. But it's really that kind of situation where we're in the car, and usually that's where I was starting to pick on her, to try and open up, because you can't leave the car. Neither I or she could. So that would be nice moment, like at least relevant moment for me to try and have something said, or if I wanted to say something. That was interesting to put that on film as well.
Everything is solved in the end with shoplifting and McDonald's.
Yeah.
I'll open this up now because we've got quite a lot of people. I think maybe somebody would like to ask a question from the audience.
Well, actually, why choose to do the animation on 16mm? But is there a certain...
I like the haptic quality of film. Like I like film, and I've worked with 16mm with other animations, and so that's why, you know, film fetish.
Yeah.
And I think as well too that it is. I really like using kind of old-fashioned ways to talk about new media, like because it makes you, it sort of distances you from it. And so if it looked too slick, like I want it to feel quite handmade and a bit kind of goofy, really. You know, it's like sort of more human. And I think also too, film as a material is different than the digital. I mean, even though it is digitized, you know, obviously. But so there's also other reasons as well.
Okay.
And I wanted to use a textile to make portraits and
Yeah.
and everything, and not plastic or aluminium or.
I mean, actually, the one of the puppets is made partially from a balloon and like a cloth flower, and the other one's actually from a deodorant. But then the arms are out of felt, and then I made the other things like out of old ties or old sort of secondhand clothes or things that I found.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was more a recuperation idea, or
a what?
A recuperation idea, like sustainable idea, or it was
a bit. Yeah, sure. And then too, that I was also at that time reading a lot about plants and like plant culture. So I mean, it's only in there like a whisper, but I have some leaves and I kind of glued like sequins on them, and you know, stuff like like that.
Yeah. But it's nice the parallel with the secret and the stars. And, yeah. Makes sense. So.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, there's like a Tic Tac jar
for
the water can. That's so cute. But the other thing I was going to bring up about your film actually was that I've been watching a lot of like. So do you know the TV show Walking with Dinosaurs?
No.
Where you see this, like it's a historical documentary. Obviously, they've made up a day in the lives of dinosaurs or whatever, and it's like this fantastic other world that existed, but kind of you see every layer of life and how it interacts with itself. And I really love that element of your film in particular. Like, how long did it take you to come up with how this universe kind of slots together?
I mean, the creation of it, or the idea sort of came quickly, but the animating of it, I moved, you know, at that time and a couple times, and so that took a while. But I don't know. It just sort of, I think, because I'm also making a lot of objects and doing art anyway. It's like it's just sort of part of my universe, and it all just sort of congeals together somehow.
And enough time has passed that you feel like going back to that.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm excited to do it again because I feel like there's, you know, I will shoot it digitally, but I have a studio, so I can really just stay in one spot. And I'm like, I really want to do it. So, yeah.
And Marie, you're also starting production of a film. You said,
yes.
Alma, you are. I think we spoke about this on the podcast, trying to promote the event, was that your next film is going to be a narrative, right?
Yes.
Like it's not going to be a documentary. So yours is a departure from what you've previously done.
Yeah.
Does that make you nervous at all? Or?
Yeah, of course. That's I think it doesn't make you nervous. I mean, it's not like hitting the right spot, right? But I'm now learning even how to write a script. I never did it.
Are you doing a short?
No, I'm doing a feature.
A feature, okay. And what genre? Or you cannot say maybe?
No, yeah. It's actually a story about Amsterdam. There are 4 characters of Amsterdam, but any of them are actually originally from Amsterdam. And it's a love story to this city a bit in a dark comedy.
And with here, but if you don't...
It's a bit like like chapters, so but the stories are a bit intertwined.
Okay.
Any other questions? Yes?
Yes. I wanted to say thank you, Alma, for your documentary. It's brought wonderful things to most of the people feature in it. And I wanted to ask you, what are the things that you are most proud of?
Well, I'm proud of making it already, you know, like, and this was made almost everything by myself, and 90% of the movie is by myself. And yeah, I'm also very proud that every time I watch it and I watch it with people, I think I managed to my goal, which was to show how, women are like together will do something very nice and feel free, and I think that's a vibe that you get after you watch the movie, and I think it's the most proud of.
And what about the technical side of things as well? Because it's very smooth, very sleek, stylish. The sound is amazing.
Yeah, well, the sound actually was doing by a woman too. And yeah, the technical part, it was the most complicated because I never did something like that. I was in the production side, but I get, I think, like to, well, how do you say? Yeah, people were giving me advice on that, and it was nice. I think.
One last question, and then I've got to go and fight some fires, I guess. As three women directors in your respective niches, how has have you been kind of impacted at all? Do you feel like by unconscious biases, shall we say? Have you had to overcome a lot to make your respective arts? Please, yeah. Ending on such a partner, but you know.
Me not, but
Yeah, not so much, but I think it's animations and animators are quite open, and also the experimental film scene is also pretty open and welcoming. I think sometimes if it comes to like bigger funding, it can be harder for women. I know from other friends of mine, but I think in the experimental film world, which is where I'm at, it's been pretty open and it's been okay.
Good.
Yeah.
yeah, for me it's more the fact that I was not from a film school and that I'm an expat in the Netherlands. But although I did not struggle.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah, because if I wanted to do the same. Like if I wanted to, if a Dutch person would do that in France, I think that would go more difficult than if a French person does it in the Netherlands, I feel. But yeah, that was one field of area that was a bit more difficult, but not specifically linked to my gender yet. So
No, from my gender, no, but I actually have the same experience with you, and I still don't understand. Like I applied to the Amsterdam fundings, and I get the reply after the inspiration day, and I think like this movie is quite relevant for Amsterdam fundings, and it always has to strike me, to be honest. But next one.
Stay on it, because I finally got lucky. I also
the fundings at the end for paying the people
Yeah.
who work there, you know.
Yeah.
It's
I think it's the expat sometimes thing, or if you like coming from outside, because I came from visual arts and not from film school, so it's like a different. It's like just a little tricky.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's have a hand for our marvelous directors then, Marie Lormeau